Good afternoon, everyone. This is Linda from North Central Texas. And by request, and it's probably not the swamp grass that they were talking about, but unfortunately, I know there is swamp grass that you can eat. It's not available here, so I couldn't just go to the store and buy some to do this dish. So I'm going by a recipe for shrimp in swamp grass, which cabbage takes the place of the swamp grass. So we're going to get with it here. We're going to, I'm not sure. And I don't want whole rings, so I'm going to cut this onion in half. So I'll have half rings instead of a whole one. I'm sure down Louisiana way they know what swamp grass is. They've probably eaten it quite a few times. Now it says to slice it real thin, and I was going to try to do that in my food processor, but you can't put a half an onion down through the top, so it's not for that. Oh, let's see, I'm going to need got a plate to put my cabbage in, and I got this container to put my onions in as I slice them. And I'm going to try to do them paper thin, as thin as I can. I've got another slicer I could have used, but I'll just do it this way, because everybody doesn't have a slicer. And this is the next thing. I mean, you can slice them with a knife. Just slice them as thin as you possibly can with your knife, and you're good. We're using a half of a white onion or yellow onion. Yeah, I thought I'd get some people's attention with the title of this video. When you're dealing with swamp grass. In a recipe, that is. So there is my sliced onion. And that was basically as thin as I could slice it with a knife. It's not paper thin, but it's close. And I've got basically a half a cabbage here. In fact, I was wondering what I was going to do with it the other day, because it needed to be cooked. Now I'm going to do the same with my cabbage. I'm going to slice it real thin. Taking the core out, that is. I leave the core in because it kind of holds it together while I slice it. Well, I'm running out of room to put my cabbage. I've still got another half one. Maybe I won't use all of it because it calls for a whole pound of shrimp and a half of a cabbage. I don't have quite a whole pound of shrimp. So I think I'm going to stop right there with the cabbage, and I'm not going to use quite all my onion either. I had a whole pound of shrimp. This bag is a pound, but I used some of my shrimp out of it for another recipe. So I've only got about a half a pound in there. So I'm going to half in the recipe, so I won't be using quite all of it. Now what I'm going to do, since I've got that sliced up, I'm going to take my bowl, I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. Mine is French's. You know, I'm not even going to measure it because I think I can pretty well judge. Well, it's not been opened yet, so I have to take the lid off of it. Take that paper off. Now this is kind of a cool salad you can make when you don't want to cook. So I'm putting basically what's 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. I've got balsamic vinegar, if I can get it opened. It's not been opened yet. I love recipes that you don't really have to cook and heat your house up, especially in the summer. The whole thing was turning on me. Now we're going to put 1/4 a cup and I'm going to measure this because get over here so I can see where the 1/4 a cup is. That's good. Now we got our mustard and vinegar that we're going to whisk together. I've got some capers. I don't know if y'all have used those before. Whoops. Spilled it out a little bit. Did not mean to, but I did. We're going to put 1 tablespoon of capers in there. And it's going to be interesting to see how I'm going to get these out. Because you definitely can't put your spoon down in that skinny jar. But all we need is just 1 tablespoon of it. We're going to add, oh, we didn't get our oil. We need about 3/4 cup of olive oil. Maybe not quite that much. Because I didn't put quite half of a. I'm going to add it and mix in my olive oil. And I still may have to get a bigger bowl. I'm going to add in my cabbage. Because we got to toss this. I don't know if I can toss it in this little bowl. We're going to add some of our onions. I just dropped the onion in the floor. Here, that's enough onions. I am going to pick that onion up before I step on it. I'll put it in the trash later. Okay, I got to toss it a little bit. I don't want to get my fingers in there, so I'm going to use the tongs. And I really needed a bigger bowl, but this is the biggest glass bowl I've got. But I think we can make do with it. If I can keep everything in the bowl. It's just the right size for it. You just have to be careful tossing it around. Now I've got pre-cooked shrimp. All I had to do was thaw them out. But if you have fresh shrimp, they need to be cooked. Go ahead and cook them for the few minutes till they turn pink. Take them out, put them in ice water to cool them down before you start the rest of this. I'm just gently doing this because, you know, my bowl is full. But this is a great dish for summertime because the only thing that you'd have to cook is your shrimp if you didn't get them already cooked. Okay, now, and this is just whole shrimp, cooked, peeled, deveined, and it's got the tail on. I don't really like the tail on my shrimp. Not when it's in a salad or something like that. So I'm going to take my shrimp out of my package, put them in this plate. Whoops. You'll have my whole house smelling like shrimp. But I am simply going to pull my tails off and throw them in my bowl. I don't like the tails or any type of peeling. Not when I mix it up in a salad like this. If I was going to make a shrimp cocktail, yeah, I'd leave the tails on. But to do this, no, I'd rather take them off. So see, my shrimp are already cooked. They're already cold because I had to thaw them out. I had them in the freezer. I love shrimp. I love cabbage, but, you know, and I think this is going to be really good. And you're supposed to let this sit for an hour. That way that vinegar and oil kind of absorbs into that cabbage just a tiny bit and into your shrimp. And it turns it a dark color. And it looks more like swamp grass would look. Some of my oil. Now I'm going to continue tossing it the best I can. We want to get some of those capers up to the top. See how the cabbage is starting to darken just a tiny bit? That's from that balsamic vinegar. It soaks into the cabbage just a tiny bit. You might say, well, how is it doing that? Because cabbage doesn't absorb anything. Well, it does after it's been sitting there for a while. It will absorb. You want your shrimp and your cabbage well coated. You'll get some of those capers up to the top. Now, some people may say, well, you need to shred some carrots up in that. Well, you can, but this is swamp grass. It's not supposed to have carrots. See how the cabbage is turning just a little? Get some of those capers up here to the top. It kind of reminds me of fermented vegetables. Only we're not going to ferment these. Now, see if I can get this out of there, and I'll use this same plate. And I have got a mess. But at least it's not hot in here. Get that all up out of the way. And see, we didn't have to cook this. Serve some up on your plate. Now, probably by tomorrow, this will be a lot better because it'll be sitting in this vinegar for a while. The cabbage will break down just a tiny bit. But there you go. Get me a fork. Something to drink. It's empty. Oh man. But look at this, y'all. Shrimp in swamp grass. This is going to be so good. Get me a caper. It's like eating it's a salad basically. Trying to figure out how to eat it correctly is going to be another issue. Get me a shrimp on there. Y'all take the first bite. Mmm. Mmm. That is good, y'all. And like I said, after it's set there for a few hours, the cabbage will break down just a little bit. It'll be a lot easier to eat. Y'all take another bite. Go ahead. Shrimp and in swamp grass. Mmm. That is so good. The thinner you can slice your onions and your cabbage, the better. It makes chewing it and eating it a lot easier. I mean, you don't really want to shred it up in little bitty pieces, but you want it thinly, real thinly sliced. And I could have got mine just a little bit thinner if I'd taken more time to do it. Mmm. That is really good. You can see the cabbage is already kind of breaking down a little bit. You're supposed to let it sit for at least an hour. In that sauce that we made. It's really good. Y'all have a shrimp. That's pretty good, y'all. It's just a light salad for a hot day. And if you can find a cabbage with a little bit of green on it, that's even better. Mine was like mostly white. But you know, some of your cabbages have got green on it. And that makes it look even more like swamp grass, is to have the green on the cabbage. Y'all have another bite. Mmm. This is hitting the spot. And like I said, if you leave it sit for at least an hour or two, even overnight's better for the cabbage to break down a little bit. It's a lot better to do that. I think next time I'll put my cabbage in my food processor and shred it. You're really not supposed to, though. You're supposed to thinly slice it. And that'll look more like swamp grass. Mmm. It's the winter, y'all. But if y'all want the recipe, I'm going to give you the full recipe right now. 1 pound of wild shrimp, peeled or deveined. 2 tablespoons Dijon mustard. 1/4 cup balsamic vinegar. 3/4 cup olive oil. 1 tablespoon of capers. 1 large sweet onion thinly sliced. And a 1/2 head of cabbage, thinly sliced. You cook shrimp in boiling water or salted water until it turns pink. Drain and put shrimp in ice water to stop cooking. Drain well. In a large bowl, whisk mustard, vinegar, and slowly add the oil. Add capers, sliced onion, and cabbage. Toss to coat well. Add the shrimp and toss. And then, like I said, if you don't have to eat it right away, it's best to let it sit for a couple of hours. But I mean, you can certainly do just like I'm doing and eat it right away. Mmm. Pretty good stuff. Wanted to get one of them capers up in there. Take another bite. Mmm. Mmm. And like I said, in parts of the country, there is a real swamp grass that is edible. I just can't get it around here. I mean, you don't go to the desert and expect to find swamp grass. So, but anyway, this is the version that I came up with on some of the recipes. If you can't get swamp grass, then use cabbage. And with that, I'm going to call it a day on this video. I'm going to go ahead and finish eating my salad because this is my dinner. And it'll probably be my lunch and dinner tomorrow as much as I've got in this bowl. And I'm going to wish y'all a good day. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos. And I'll see y'all on my next one. Love y'all. Bye.